Hi folks, this video is going to be on mores and taboos. So let's talk about these two types of norms, these two categories of norms. Mores are different from folkways in that they are serious behaviors. They're behaviors that we're not going to laugh at. Now we might laugh at you if in class you fart. I think there's probably a folkway saying don't fart in class. We might laugh at you in class, think you're strange. But we don't take it that seriously. We don't get upset. Mores are different. We take them seriously, so seriously that they are formal. They're recorded. They're written down so that you know what to do and not to do. And the punishment, the sanction for violating a more is legal. You can be fined, jailed, or executed. You see, if you violate a folkway, we don't put you in jail for farting in class. We don't put you in jail if you pick your nose and flick it at somebody. All of these are folkways. What we do is we think you're weird or strange and we ostracize you or don't want to hang with you. But with a more, we're going to take it seriously. And you could actually be executed if the more is serious enough that you violate it like murder in terms of that. So this is a whole different category of norm. We take it very seriously. Now let's ask a few questions about mores and folkways that will help us understand our third category called taboos. First question. Who out there has never violated a folkway? I'm looking around. I don't see any hands because all of us have violated folkways. Yes, we have. Who out there has never violated a more? Looking around. I don't see any hands. All of us have violated mores. We've all violated laws, whether we've gotten caught or not. Right? If you drive a car, you probably have driven too fast or texted or done something. Some of you have cheated on your taxes. Some of you have used illegal drugs. When I was a kid, we used to do something, I can admit it, I think, right? We used to throw donuts at cars, and there's probably a law against it. Yeah, a friend of mine worked at a donut shop, and we got leftover donuts. We bite them in half, the jelly ones, and we throw them. This is called vandalism, I think, Hope I'm not getting in trouble for this, but, we threw jelly donuts at cars. We've all violated laws. Some of you violated serious laws. But this is the important point. All of us have violated folkways and mores, but none of us, I hope, have violated taboos. So there are sociologists and our book is probably one, who think they're only folkways and mores. I say there are taboos. Now, how do taboos differ, and how can we tell if it's a taboo? Why do I claim there's another category? I claim there's another category because taboo is something that you haven't done out there. Y'all haven't violated taboos. When it comes to taboos, you're going to say there's no justification for it. That you can't justify it, that it's, in some cases, even evil and repulsive. Let me give you an example. I bet some of you out there would violate a serious more like murder if given a good enough reason. And I don't mean self-defense, because self-defense actually is legal. Think about it. Some of you out there, if you had a good enough reason, would kill somebody. And I'll give you one that's probably true for some of you. What if somebody raped and murdered your five-year-old daughter, and the police could not prove that this person did it, but you know that person did it? So here we have a case, your daughter's murdered and raped. You know who did it, but the police can't prove it. Some people out there, maybe some of you, might feel justified in taking revenge and killing that person. Is that true? That's true. Some of you might. That shows that you would violate a serious more in terms of a crime. But when it comes to taboo, you wouldn't. And while some of you out there, many of you out there may not kill for revenge, you might at least understand why somebody did it. But when it comes to taboo, you're not going to understand why they did it. They're very powerful. So here we go. A taboo is like a more in that it's serious. It's formal, it's recorded, it's backed up by laws, and we know what they are. But a taboo is something you should never do. It's evil, you cannot justify. Here's an example. On one side of me, I have a man who killed somebody in a bar fight, fighting over money. The other side is a man who's been having sex with his 12-year-old daughter since she was 7 years old. Who are you more bothered by, the murderer or the pedophile? I bet in almost every case, those of you out there are more bothered by the pedophile. That's a taboo. Sexual child abuse, pedophilia, is a taboo. You see how it fits into being almost like evil, repulsive, and you should never do that. That's an example of a taboo. Other taboos in our society would include things like cannibalism. Cannibalism, the eating human flesh, again, you would be repulsed. If somebody said, come over to my house, we're going to have pizza, with mushrooms and grandma, you would go, no, I don't like mushrooms. That's the joke there, okay? You would be repulsed by the idea of eating human flesh. So cannibalism's another one. Another one is necrophilia. You know what necrophilia is? Sex with dead people. That's disgusting. It's repulsive. How do you justify it? Sex with dead people is a taboo. You can't have sex with dead people. You have to wake them up first. That's a joke, okay? Necrophilia. Can't have sex with dead people. And here's one that's, I think, is kind of it's odd, and it is a taboo, is bestiality. Yes, that's right. You know what bestiality is? Sex with animals. It's a taboo. Cannot do it. And you see how we think about things like that because, and if you talk to a person and you say, who'd you go out with last night? And they go, Fido. And you go, what? And you said, yeah, I like to have sex with my dog. Aren't you going to think this is really, really too far out? There's no justification. How's that person going to justify it? They can't get a date? No. In other words, when it comes to taboos, we don't accept justifications for necrophilia. We don't accept it for cannibalism or pedophilia. We don't accept it even for bestiality in terms of that. It shows the power of taboos and how we just abide by them because there was a case several years ago where a plane crashed in the Andes. And I think there were soccer or rugby team members, and they didn't think they were going to get rescued. So they apparently voted and decided to eat the bodies of those who had died. And you realize, to show you the power of taboo, there were a number of people that survived that crash, but could not bring themselves to eat human flesh, and they died themselves. Shows you the power of the taboo. Taboo is so powerful that we actually would give up our lives. Now, one interesting aspect of taboos I want to mention is that we don't always punish them real severely. Taboos are punished legally, but not necessarily real severely. There was a woman in California who's been caught several times working at funeral homes, getting jobs there, and having sex with dead young men. She's attracted to dead young men. She's been caught 3 times. You know what? They didn't put her in prison. I think in every case, the judge recommended that she go into some sort of therapy program, in order to try to get her to go out with living guys. That last part's a joke, but we didn't put her in prison. And what if your next door neighbor is having sex with a dog? Hopefully not a chihuahua, but what if he's having sex with a dog? What are we going to do? Put him in prison? Okay, you're 5 years in prison for sex with a chihuahua, but only 2 years for a Labrador. No, we're going to say the guy's having sex with animals. We're going to send him in for counseling. Maybe not let him have a dog. I agree with that. In other words, we don't always punish taboos more severely than we do serious mores like murder. Now, if we're talking about somebody who's a pedophile, they are punished very severely. Or we're talking about sometimes what psychopaths do, and that is that they actually do engage in necrophilia and in cannibalism. Yeah, we're going to punish them severely. But this woman who was having sex with people in the funeral homes, and this guy is having sex with dogs, in those cases, we probably wouldn't punish them more severely. So let's just summarize the whole thing about norms. We have folkways, everyday behaviors. They're informal, they're not written down, they're understood, and the sanctions if you violate them are that people think you're weird, strange, and they might ostracize you and not want to hang with you. We have mores, more serious. They're formal, they're recorded, they're written down, backed up by law, and we shouldn't do it. Then we have taboos that are these very powerful behaviors that we feel that nobody should do, and they're not justified. We think it's almost like repulsive or evil if you do them. Now, taboos and mores, remember, are both illegal, and they're both serious, and they're both recorded. But the taboo is like something that's really, really bad, or at least really just repulsive in terms of its behavior. Okay, so this is norms.